ndiyayisusa ngoku.
Zille now. Very good evening to you, Helen. Good to talk to you on the SABC. So you say, according to the reports that we've seen since the weekend, that you have been approached to consider running as the DA's candidate for mayor in Johannesburg. Who approached you?
Look, I'm obviously not going to talk about who approached me, because then I can ask you who leaked the story to you. I mean, the point is that I was approached, I am considering it, and I might well put my hat in the ring.
Good morning once again. Welcome to South Africa Lately, a channel that discusses South African trending news. We do, however, grab here and there from international news when it is trending enough to be brought here. Please do understand that I'm not a politician. I do not have deep knowledge in politics. However, I am a South African citizen who is also a voter, and I do believe that my views count when it comes to political affairs of our beautiful country. Guys, please pardon the background noise. We have serious winds in our province, or maybe in our area today, because of the cold front and the snow that is coming, and some areas already have snow, so pardon that, please bear with me. So Helen Zille is considering the reaction by South Africans to be very positive, and she's saying, I'm considering running to be mayor in the 2026 local government elections. And the way she is talking, I foresee that happening unless maybe the Democratic Alliance at large sees this as in a negative light, that maybe the people can reject the entire Democratic Alliance, because for them to win more votes, they need people of color, because they are the majority in this country. They cannot just be a white political party. Anyway, guys, so regardless of this backlash, Helen Zille is saying is positive reaction. So whatever your views are, kindly share them in the comment section. I'm looking forward to reading those. What do you think, really? What do you think? Because they complain. The South Africans are complaining that Helen Zille comes from the dark history. She comes from a place that is very traumatic for many people of color in South Africa today. They don't want her leading the city of Joburg. And Helen Zille is saying she's considering it, and she's saying the reason for that is because she believes that she can fix the city of Joburg, and South Africa has to be fixed bit by bit for the economy to balance. Right, guys, I'm not going to hold you any longer. And she's saying that she is prepared for the fight, to win the fight, so that she can win the elections. Hey, guys, and let me tell you something. For this to happen, it needs votes. So whatever Helen Zille can say, if she doesn't get the votes, it won't happen. But if she gets the votes, it will happen. It goes down to us, the people who vote. It goes down to the voters. And at this stage, the voters are being seduced by every political party, every politician. Go bad. We are spoiled for choice, child. Anyway, let me leave you to it. And don't forget to share your views in the comment section. I'll see you right at the end with my closing commentary.
Zille now. Very good evening to you, Helen. Good to talk to you on the SABC. So you say, according to the reports that we've seen since the weekend, that you have been approached to consider running as the DA's candidate for mayor in Johannesburg. Who approached you?
Look, I'm obviously not going to talk about who approached me, because then I can ask you who leaked the story to you. I mean, the point is that I was approached, I am considering it, and I might well put my hat in the ring.
Well, challenge in some of the analysis when it comes to you, Helen, considering being the candidate for the DA for Johannesburg mayor, is that you come with a history. That history is polarizing, as I'm sure you've seen, even in the reactions. Do you not worry that the noise around you, and quite frankly, the outright dislike, even among the parties in council in an era of coalition politics, might not be the best way for the DA campaign to run, that it might work against the organization's campaign for next year's election?
Well, I've been amazed at how positive the response has been. I thought the response would be far more negative. And it is very encouraging to me how positive the response has been if you look on all the polls, on all the discussion groupings. And of course, in politics, you want to gear up for a fight. It's well known that in politics, if you want to win an election, you have to win a fight. And if you want to win a fight, you have to start a fight. So it's very problematic if politicians don't roll up their sleeves and get into the boxing ring.
But would it not be an easier journey to the top for the DA if they had, say, a mayoral candidate who didn't come with as many issues that, in fact, by the way, are not necessarily about the organisation, but are about the individual themselves, as is the case with you?
Well, one of the things I have got is having run coalitions successfully. The other thing that I've got is having started the process of turning around Cape Town and then turning around the Western Cape. So those are all of the things that come with me, but I don't have to convince you, and I don't have to do my pitch to you at all, because A, you aren't going to be there, and B, I don't think that anybody outside the process can understand the issues that have to be addressed.
Well, you're not pitching it to me. The reality is there are people who are watching this evening who will be voting in the local government election. Whether I'm impressed or not is neither here nor there. It's not about me, it's about the people who are listening, who are undecided, especially at a time where you know that no one has had, in at least 2 successive elections, an outright majority in the local government election. So you're pitching to them and not me, because they vote, not just the federal council.
I'm not pitching to anybody at the moment because I haven't decided to run yet. And if I do decide to run, the first pitch I'm going to have to make is to the selection panel. And if I happen to be amongst all the contenders the successful candidate, then I will pitch to the voters and they can make up their mind. But if the voters want water in their taps, and if the voters want lights to come on when they switch them on, and if voters want their roads to be passable and potholes to be filled, and if voters want traffic lights to work and rubbish to be picked up, they know what to do.
So what's going to clinch it for you? Because you say you're undecided.
Well, what's going to clinch it for me is the toss-up between different pressures. Number one, I love Joburg. I was born in Joburg. I think I have unfinished business in Joburg. I was born in Hillbrow. I lived in Hillbrow for many years when I was a journalist. And it's very sad for me to see how it's unraveled. And another big pull factor for me is the fact that Joburg is South Africa's financial and economic capital. And obviously that has to work. No one is going to invest in a place where there's no water on several days, where there are such big potholes in the road that they are largely impassable, where there are no street lights, where crime is escalating, and where rubbish is all over the place, and where you can't get electricity reliably. I mean, nobody's going to invest in a place like that. And that economy then can only unravel and collapse.
And what about your role in the federal leadership of the DA? You've got a Congress coming up, I think, April of next year, 2026. Is that also part of your calculations? Is it more appealing, perhaps, than a mayorship in Johannesburg?
Well, it would be a lot easier than the mayorship in Johannesburg to stay where I am and to run again for chair of federal council. I'm pretty much on top of this job now, and it's become a routine for me, which is not a bad thing. I like challenges. I like big challenges. And Joburg seems to be a very big challenge. So I've got to decide whether I want to have a peaceful life or a challenging life. And then the candidate selection process has to decide whether I'm the right candidate or not.
Does it matter to you which comes first then between the two, the election or the federal Congress, in terms of where your fate will lie, let's say in the next 12 months?
Well, by that time, I will have had to obviously make up my mind, and so will the selection panel have sat. So the applications close this Friday, and anybody, and if any listener wants to apply to be the mayor of Joburg, please go to DA. First, you go to apply.da.org.za, apply.da.org.za. You do have to be a DA member to qualify to be a mayor of Johannesburg, and you have to be prepared to live in Johannesburg in order to be the mayor of Johannesburg, obviously. But if anybody wants to be the mayor and fits those criteria, they've got what it takes, please apply. We want competition in the DA.
Why would you do it?
Why would I do it?
Yeah.
Because I have unfinished business in Johannesburg. I was born in Hillbrow. I grew up in Johannesburg. I lived in Hillbrow as a journalist. I love that city. I've still got family in that city. And most importantly of all, South Africa can't succeed if Joburg is broken. Joburg remains the financial capital, the economic capital of South Africa, and we have to make sure that Joburg is fixed. South Africa can be on the road to success, but we've got to fix it bit by bit, and I've always said that's going to start with local government. That's why we put all our eggs into trying to win somewhere at local level, demonstrating better governance, and building from there, from the bottom up. And I've always said that's the way to transform South Africa, and that is what we're doing.
Look, your political rivals, even they, I think, would grudgingly admit your success in Cape Town and the Western Cape. But they might argue Johannesburg is a different kettle of fish. It's a far more cosmopolitan city than Cape Town, and many voters may find you personally wanting on key issues that matter to them around race, identity, transformation. What's your response to that?
Well, my response to that is Joburg is a completely different kettle of fish, but primarily for the reason that it is much, much, much more broken than Cape Town was in 2006. And, you know, the voters of Joburg have to make a choice. Do they want race or do they want services? Do they want good governance? Do they want investment? Do they want jobs? Do they want a turnaround that will get people out of poverty?
Thank you guys for watching up to this point, and I'm looking forward to reading your comments in the comment section. If time allows me, I'm going to respond, but if it doesn't, I'm certainly going to take time to try and react to every post to show that I appreciate your participation in my channel. So you heard that. There is a possibility, and it always boils down to who voted and how did they vote. Do have yourself a beautiful day.